Diana Frances Spencer was born on the 1st of July 1961 into the Spencer family, an old British aristocratic line, and grew up at Park House near Sandringham. Her childhood was marked by her parents' separation in 1969, which she later described as a deeply difficult period, but nothing about her early life suggested she would become a global figure. Before joining the royal family, she worked as a nursery assistant in London and lived a quiet, private routine. Everything changed in 1981 when her engagement to Prince Charles was announced, and the press interest rose at a level the royal family had not seen before. Newspapers began calling her Shy Di, and within months she became one of the most photographed women in the world. The mystery for many observers was how a young woman with no public role suddenly became an international focus without any planned effort. From her side, Diana married Prince Charles on the 29th of July 1981 at St. Paul's Cathedral, an event watched by hundreds of millions around the world. But her life inside the palace was very different from the public celebration. At only 19, she entered a system with strict rules on behavior, limited personal freedom, and controlled communication. According to official records and Diana's later statements, she struggled to adjust to the royal routine and often felt isolated. Her eating disorder, which she later confirmed in interviews, began during this period, and emotional stress became harder to manage as the marriage faced problems. By 1992, the couple's relationship had broken down to the point that the British Prime Minister announced their separation in Parliament, marking the first time the public saw that the perfect royal image had never matched the private reality. Through the late 1980s and early 1990s, Diana became the main target of the British tabloid press, with confirmed cases of paparazzi following her in public spaces and even outside hospitals and schools. The pressure reached a turning point in November 1995 when she gave a televised interview to the BBC's Panorama program, where she spoke openly about her marriage and life inside the royal family. At the time, the interview created a major public response. But years later, an independent investigation led by Lord Dyson in 2021 confirmed that the journalist had used deceptive methods to secure access. The BBC issued a formal apology and stated that the interview would never be aired again. Yet the statements Diana made were her own and remain part of the historical record. Diana's divorce from Prince Charles was finalized in August 1996, and official documents confirmed that she lost the title Her Royal Highness and her full royal security. After leaving the formal royal role, she focused on independent humanitarian work, including her campaign against landmines with the British Red Cross and her visit to Angola in early 1997, which brought global attention to civilian injuries in post-war regions. During this period, she was no longer protected by the palace and relied on private security, while remaining one of the most followed public figures in the world. Her life became more independent, but the constant media presence did not reduce, creating a situation where she was highly visible without the safety structure she once had. On the night of the 30th of August 1997, Diana was in Paris with Dodi Al-Fayed, staying at the Ritz Hotel, which was owned by Dodi's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed. Throughout the day, paparazzi waited outside the hotel, and the security team tried different plans to avoid them. According to the official French investigation, the couple left the hotel just after midnight on the 31st of August through the back entrance in a Mercedes-Benz S280 driven by Henry Paul, the hotel's acting head of security. A second car was used as a decoy at the front to distract photographers. Trevor Rhys-Jones, a bodyguard, was the only other person in the vehicle. None of the passengers in the back were wearing seat belts, a detail confirmed later in both French and British reports. At around 12:23 a.m., the car entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at high speed, while several motorcycles and cars followed. The vehicle struck the 13th pillar inside the tunnel, causing severe damage. Dodi Al-Fayed and Henry Paul died at the scene, while Diana and Rhys-Jones were found with critical injuries. Emergency services arrived within minutes, and French medical teams treated Diana inside the tunnel before transporting her to Petit Salpêtrière Hospital. Despite surgery, she was pronounced dead at 4 a.m. local time. Official medical records noted massive internal injuries, including a torn pulmonary vein. In 1999, the French judicial inquiry led by Judge Hervé Stephan concluded that the crash was caused by Henry Paul's loss of control due to high speed and alcohol. Toxicology reports showed a blood alcohol level above the legal limit, and the car was traveling faster than the posted limit. The investigation also recorded the presence of photographers who reached the tunnel soon after the crash, but no criminal charges were brought against them for causing the collision. French authorities ruled the incident an accidental death. Public doubts continued, which led to a second investigation in the United Kingdom. From 2004 to 2008, the Metropolitan Police conducted Operation Paget under the leadership of Lord Stevens. The final report confirmed the French findings. There was no evidence of a planned plot or criminal involvement by any institution or individual. The report also highlighted contributing factors such as the absence of seatbelts and the speed of the vehicle. Operation Paget concluded that the crash was a tragic accident, and both governments closed their inquiries with the same outcome even after two major investigations closed. Public questions did not disappear, mainly because some details of the night remained unclear rather than hidden. One issue often discussed is the lack of usable CCTV footage inside the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Both French and British reports confirmed that the tunnel did not have active cameras recording traffic at that time, which meant investigators had to rely on witness statements and reconstruction instead of video evidence. Another source of doubt was the change in Diana's security after her divorce. Official documents show that she no longer received protection from the Metropolitan Police and relied on private arrangements, which were not coordinated with British authorities. This shift was legal and confirmed in the UK inquest, but it raised questions among the public about whether the reduced security made her more exposed. The medical response also became a point of debate. In France, emergency teams follow a system that focuses on treating patients at the scene before rapid transport. The Operation Paget report noted that doctors worked on Diana inside the tunnel for over 30 minutes before moving her to the hospital, which some observers found unusual. But the inquest confirmed that French procedures were followed correctly and that the injuries she suffered were not survivable in any scenario. During the UK inquest held between 2007 and 2008, several witnesses gave evidence under oath, including police officers, forensic experts, and medical staff. The jury concluded that Diana and Dodi died due to an unlawful killing caused by the grossly negligent driving of Henry Paul and the pursuing paparazzi, but also confirmed that there was no proof of a conspiracy or intentional harm. Claims made by Mohammed Al-Fayed suggesting a planned plot were examined in detail but dismissed due to lack of evidence. And the coroner stated that the case should not be reopened. Even with these findings, public doubt continued mostly because Diana was a global figure whose death was sudden and emotionally powerful. Her legacy, however, shifted away from the circumstances of her passing. International campaigns continued the work she started, especially on landmine clearance and HIV awareness. And the United Nations and Red Cross recognized her role in changing public attitudes toward humanitarian issues. Today, the mystery is not about hidden facts, but about why a fully investigated event still remains difficult for many to accept, showing how deeply Diana's life and image were connected to the public long after her death.